Tips and tricks, and today's video is mainly going to be for a plasma cutter, a CNC plasma cutter table. I had to make 4 flanges for a cart I was making, and just a little insight, I used to weld the wheels to the cart, but the carts outlast the wheels and you have to replace them, and they're not very easy to take off, and so I made this one like I've been making the last ones, and you can have the bolts through there, and they have some clearance of 1.5 inches from this tubing. Anyway, so here's what the wheel looks like. Now I have the good fortune, I also have a laser engraver, and so I'm able to cut out a template on a piece of scrap plywood before I cut out my metal, so I make sure my numbers are right and my markings are correct. And there it is on the wheel itself, and it fit the first times. It's really handy, to have a chart like this. This is supplied by my local metal dealer, but you could probably find this online, and this is actually a laminated card, and I have a couple of them out in the shop, but it tells you, 9/16 is 0.52 or 5.5625, and that's really handy in Corel Draw. Now, the first thing you're going to do is take some measurements of the flange itself, and here I have 4 15/16, and I think this is 3 15/16, and 4 7/8. So there's 2 ways to do this. If you really want to double check yourself, you could take a picture of your item and bring it in Corel Draw, import it, and all I did, you just go up to import and then find that picture. It's always good to have your picture level and pretty flat. Now I drew a black line around this, but so you can see it in the video, it's actually a hairline. So I made it darker, and then here's our 4. So they're relatively placed, and this would work, and it would work for you. And I'm going to use 3/8 inch bolts, and these are 1/2 inch holes. One to kind of align the wheels after I weld them in place, or because you might be a little bit off with your weld. Now the only thing wrong with it doing it this way, if you're not doing it the other way, is these holes could be a little bit off. Like that one particularly is a little taller than that one. It's because it's relative to the picture. So I don't really suggest doing that on something technically like this where you need this. So all I did, let's get rid of that indexing line. I mean, the picture can help if you don't, especially if you don't have a laser engraver. And what the picture was, a big file, and I was just able to shrink it to, I've got it all grouped together, but you ungroup it. And I've got another video about how to do this, and then you can bring your picture in to the size. The flange is a certain size because you just got to measure it. So your picture is either going to be smaller or larger. So you just keep scaling your picture up until it fits. Well, that's enough of that. So here's our flange ready to be cut out, and here is the flange itself, and here's our holes. Now I'm going to go back to, I'm using 1/2 inch holes because I want a little wiggle room. I'm going to put washers on it anyway, but the way you would do this, you've measured your hole distance also, and you can do this with a ruler, but it's really, if you're going to do it, you're going to eyeball the center of this, and then this is going to give you a more accurate deal. So a ruler would work. I just like using a caliper because they're sitting right there. So I have 3 19/16, and the other one was 2 53/64. So what you do, and this is relatively easy, you have your 1/2 inch hole. You're going to put your nudge factor on that 2.8281 and basically Corel rounds it off. And this is what's so neat about this. Just hit Control D, make a duplicate, and then cursor over one time. Now group these two. Go up to Arrange and Group. Now let's change our nudge factor to the distance of the other holes, which are 3.2969. It's going to round it off. You've got these grouped. Make a duplicate and then go down. And I think I just did it backwards, but let's group this. Let's turn them around 90 degrees. I think that's the way it's going to be. And then this is what's so neat about this. Put your flange with the P key in the center of your page. Take your 4 parts and put it in the center of the page. It can't be off. And what's nice about this, after you've cut this out on your table, you can flip the flange around completely and have this the top side and that the bottom side on the other side. But the holes are going to be perfect no matter how you do it because they're equal, and we'll just kind of demonstrate that. Let's group this to, well, we don't even have to group it together. Let's make a duplicate of that. And now let's mirror them. They're right on top of each other. So it wouldn't have mattered which way you put them. And that's what's so nice about using Corel Draw and doing the center of the page. So your flange is perfect. And then cut it out, cut one out, test your flange and see if it doesn't work. And if that one works, cut 4 more. Hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.